Okay, so let's start Module 3 with Lesson 3.1, which is our first real look at the production process. And we've been talking a lot about the stuff we need, but we need to get into things. And so I like to break stuff down in different ways. So here's a way I've broken it down into a sentence. So in growing microgreens, we are germinating different types of seeds in trays of soil in varying and variable climates, and harvesting at the cotyledon or seed leaf stage in a continuous cycle. And what I mean by varying and variable climates is that the climate changes throughout a season and it changes throughout a growing cycle. And these are really, really important things to remember. So let's take a look at a flow chart to give a sense of what production looks like over the course of a growing cycle. So these orange ovals here represent your inputs. And here we kind of have four. We've got our soil, our tray, our trays, our seeds, and our sanitizer. So what we're doing in our early days is we're soaking and sanitizing the seed on day one. And then on day 1 or 2, we're sowing those trays and we're covering them for the germination process. So while germinating, they stay covered and in the dark. After the process of germination is finished, we uncover those trays here, and that's day 4 or 5, depending on the crop. And then in day 9 to 11 is when we're looking at harvest. So harvesting is doing multiple things, is where we start splitting up our components again. So one is we're going to get our microgreens, which are going to go into refrigeration, and then they're going to go to our customer. And as a part of that process, we're going to bring containers and labels into our system here. Now we're going to have a couple other outputs here. So one is our trays, which go off and get washed again and then go back into our system here. And then we've got our soil, which gets separated from the trays, goes into our compost, and then goes off for another use. So this may or may not be a good way for you to look at the system, but I find breaking it down in this way helps get a sense of what the flow of things look like and what stuff happens on different days. So what we're going to do now is do a very, very quick look at the process in time lapse. And so we'll take a look at each of the different steps of the process and see what that looks like. So here we go. There's a little bit of a music to accompany things here, but it shouldn't be too loud. So enjoy. Okay, so that is a very quick overview of what production looks like. So now we're going to head into some more sections to get into a little bit more detail about the components of that. But hopefully that gives you a sense of what you're in for.